don't get that service anywhere else.
They're your Urunga pies that you got there. I'm just saying to Michael, whoever I always going to stop in there. Top 3 pies in New South Wales with them. So.
Yeah, well, they've been surprised for a long time.
Good pie.
Oh wow.
You're a legend. Thank you, my friend.
Amazing. Thank you.
After all their squats and everything in squatty, and then they'll change you like 7 people's numbers.
That makes it difficult to call.
That's why I just blank check and rewrite them out. Yeah, he's just second the details, so it's good. But I think the pricing.
Welcome to Urunga Recreation Reserve for round 2 of the men's Northern New South Wales Regional Super League. It's a coastal clash that's got rivalry, redemption and plenty riding on it as Urunga FC play host to Woolgoolga United in the match of the round. Both sides come in hungry for points. For Urunga, this is their first real taste of Super League action after a round 1 washout. Coach Jackson Hayward says it's been a disrupted build-up with injuries and limited prep. There's a confidence in the next gen stepping up. As for Woolgoolga, they fell just short in round 1 against Inverella. 2-1 defeat despite a spirited second-half rally. Coach Joel Finlayson knows this is a must-win territory if they want to keep their hopes of progressing alive. And he's backed the depth and professionalism of his group to respond. There's a long history between these two clubs in local competition, but with Super League points and bragging rights on the line, expect this one to be played at full tilt from the opening whistle. It's a huge opportunity for both sides to kickstart their campaigns, and this is a perfect setting for it. Under sunshine, on a dry day here at Urunga Recreation Reserve, it's Urunga FC, Woolgoolga United in the match of the round. Let's see who can take their chance. We'll have a run through both sides. Lineups, their starting 11s. For Woolgoolga United, in goals, Jack Wuchek. Number 3 is Jamie Arthur. 6, Weston Bodner. Number 8, Nick Mallett. Number 9, James Palmer. Number 10, Ben Whiten. Number 11, James Gorry. Number 16, Adam Watkin. Number 28, Jack Snowling. Number 29, Ace Bodner. And number 34, Kevin Agoli. And for Urunga FC, number 1 is Ashton Herbert. Number 2, Ben Martin. 3, Noah Walsh. Number 4 is Bo Wiggins. Number 5, Travis Hayden. Number 7, Pablo Casta. Number 8, Nicholas O'Mullane. Number 10, Joel Hampson. Number 11, Fabrice Wamara. Number 12, Bailey Kavanagh-Rose. And number 14, Jai Waddick. It's an intriguing clash. Two sides that are yet to meet in their local competition this season in the Premier League. They did come together a couple of times last year. It was an enthralling 2-0 win in the final round of the regular season last year for Urunga. But it was Woolgoolga who got the bragging rights in the preliminary final, where they went on to face the Northern Storm in a grand final, which they lost 2-1. So as I said there, plenty of bragging rights on the line. Make sure you stay tuned across your season for all of the Northern New South Wales Regional Super League action. Chris McPherson bringing you all the action here from Urunga Recreation Reserve. If you've only just tuned in, it was an 8-0 thumping in favour of the home side, Urunga, up against Armidale City West side in the Women's Regional Super League earlier today. And that game showed us this pitch, while long and luscious, will play well, and there's plenty of opportunity for goals. We're looking forward to the enthralling contest that sits upon us. Only moments away from kickoff here in Urunga. Urunga just going through the last of their preparations and conversations. Referee just checking with both captains that they're set. We are underway. Just working it through their defensive unit, Woolgoolga. Looking forward. Nice touch there. Gorry. That's James Gorry. And go back to Woodcheck. Woolgoolga looking to control the possession early. Urunga trying to be physical in their defence, and too physical, says the referee. Change to the starting line. It's number 37, Ignacio Antonio starting. For Woolgoolga. Woolgoolga go long. Advancing forward, but Urunga defence will do enough to just disrupt the play. Shot from range, just wide of the left post. Kevin Agoli almost had the visitors straight on the score sheet. Wonderful strike off the outside of that left. So both these teams in the North Coast Premier League Woolgoolga 5th, just 3 games played, 2 wins and a loss thus far. Urunga 7th, 1 win from 4 matches. 10 goals for, 10 goals against. Neither side will be happy with the disruption to their start and the lack of football they've been able to play. And they'll be absolutely ecstatic to be back out here today. Threaded forward for Urunga, broken up though by Jack Snowling. And now they go forward through Watkin. And throw in the way of Urunga. High tempo straight away from both sides to start this game. Plenty of intent. Ashton Herbert plays it out. Martin dispossessed with the pass. Ball's back for Whiten. Infield now, Bodnar. Fed through, swung wide, and goal again. Foul call against Fabrice Wamara. Opportunity from the set piece here early. Can they strike the first blow, Woolgoolga? Popped into the box, headed down. Herbert takes it cleanly. No real power on the headed shot. Herbert will drive this long. 60-metre kick downfield. Wamara drives the boot through it. It's deflected away. Goes out. The referee says the throw will go Woolgoolga's way, much to the perplexion of Wamara. And go the long throw, Woolgoolga. Little head inside. Wamara again. Nice touch infield, little 1-2. Whiten parries it across the sideline. Ball is retrieved and we get back underway. Martin will take the throw. Wamara marshalling traffic inside the 18-yard box. Opportunity here and played into feet. In dangerously, little spill from the keeper. Good management rather than clinical, but it worked out nonetheless for the time being. Falls to Waddick. And then it trickles away in the end, no threat. Now Woolgoolga pushing their advantage to Palmer. Plays into boots, cleared away now. Hayden does enough. They force it down towards halfway where it's sent over again for Woolgoolga. Probing runs down the right, not rewarded for Whiten. Martin comes away. Feeds it for Wamara. Last touch off Woolgoolga, says the assistant referee, so we'll have a throw for Urunga.
Yeah, Jake.
Okay, the long throw. Looking for Tarrant. Jamie Arthur sends it almost into the next suburb. Tarrant now working in traffic. Wamara comes forward, gets a boot on it. Can't quite control it though. And gets the last boot on that before it goes across the sideline. Be a throw in. Let's give credit to the ground staff in getting this field back up to scratch, considering the weather and challenges we've had in recent weeks here on the mid-north coast. Surface is looking absolutely magnificent, as you can undoubtedly see on your screens. Surface fitting of this next tier of competition in the Regional Super League. Looking and playing wonderfully here at Urunga Recreation Reserve. And Martin. Hampson threads it through. In contest. Martin again, he's had plenty of early touches, drives it forward. Tarrant racing, trying to put the pressure on. Gets the last touch and we're going to have a foul. Foul called on Tarrant, so Jamie Arthur will take the dead ball. Drives it long and hard and flat. Popped infield. Hampson lays it back. Wiggins. All the way back to Herbert now. He'll drive it into the attacking half. Headed on. Dangerous opportunity here. Tarrant, can he get forward to it? A little bit of almost heart and mouth stuff if you're a Woolgoolga fan, but we'll check out to it. Whiten back to Wuchek. Feed it down the left now. Trying to create a run and an opportunity. Gorry almost gets to it, but Herbert just snaffles it from almost his bootlaces. Goes high, deep, long. It's headed straight back though, and all of a sudden an advancing run. Nick Mallett pokes it in. They're going to have the first goal. What a clinical touch-in finish from James Gorry. Nick Mallett had done all the work. A beautifully weighted ball for him. And he's penetrated the defensive line and then selflessly played it across. And Gorry finishes. And Woolgoolga United get the early goal here at Urunga. And lead 1-0 in the Regional Super League Round 2 fixture. Could have forgiven Mallett if he decided to have a crack himself, but saw he had Gorry with him. And it left Ashton Herbert absolutely stranded with no support. How can the home side respond here? They drive long looking for Wamara. Into the box. Whiten does well, gets a touch back over his head. Nice close quarters control from the goalie. Headed forwards, headed on again. Driven back the other way by Whiten. Headed back to Herbert. Herbert looking at what will present. He's going to go long. He's got a boot on him and finds plenty of distance there. Goalie drives it back down that way. Gorry full of confidence after that first goal, putting the pressure on. Manages to block the pass. It falls kindly. Palmer, broken up. Palmer puts it into the box, headed away. Strike from distance. Bodnar sends it well over the crossbar. They're full of confidence after the early goal. Woolgoolga. Herbert now with the goal kick. Team crowded on the western touchline. Bodnar gets forward. Threaded through traffic, doesn't fall for them. Antonio deflected, chested down, lofted into the air. Nasha and Water fight it out. Antonio again. Whiten calling for it and thinks better of it. Go all the way back to Arthur. Push down the line. Fed back now to Antonio in that defensive midfield. He's going to go all the way back now. We'll check. That was aggressive in that slide, but well from the ball. Played down the line, hoping for a run from Bodnar. Headed forward again. Right, played at the other end. Woolgoolga. They lead 1-0 early here. Mallet had the assist on the first. Now they go forward. There's Gorry, the initial goal scorer. Antonio switches it out wide. Agoli pokes it back into Whiten. Driven forward now. A little deflection down from Mallet. Controls it well enough. Back for Agoli. He's going to cross it into the box with some backspin on it. Herbert gets out. Off the woodwork. Not quite cleared. A second strike. Parried by the gloves of Herbert. They continue to come to Woolgoolga. Woolgoolga up in arms for that challenge there on Palmer, I think it was in the end, and then a half-hearted shot from outside the box, well off target. My goodness, that had the Woolgoolga bench animated. Referee, though, right on the spot and happy to play things on. Again with a goal kick. I think comfortably finding plenty of distance on it so far. That's this one off the outside of the right and drives it down the middle. Headed forward just glancingly by Tarrant. Opportunity there. Apologies, that was Waddick bringing it down for Tarrant. Deflection from Tarrant's attempted shot. Goes out for a corner. Set piece opportunity to grab one back here and level the score. Hampson will take the corner. O'Mara and Tarrant, the leading scorers in the local competition for them. O'Mara gets up early, a little too early in the end. Chip forward into the box, but he's going to bounce away unthreateningly after the attempt from Wiggins. We'll check signals to his team and holds the ball aloft. A message of some sort, and they play it out from the back. Antonio laying it off. Now they go all the way back to the centre of defence with Arthur. Antonio busy, takes a turn. O'Mara, a nice little deflection. Falls in favour of Martin, who'll go down the line. That's for Reece O'Mara. Back to Martin. Keep working here, the defensive unit of Urunga. Trying to utilise the ball to make some space. Aaron gets in after it. Antonio plays it back. Arthur. Now they go back again. Arthur at the anchor of defence. Both sides looking for opportunity to present. What can they structure? Driven by Whiten. Headed backwards. Hayden. Half-hearted shot. Gorry looking for a second, but Ashton Herbert easily took that on his chest. Push forward for O'Mara. Brings it down. Antonio's there. Not too heavy, and it'll slice away towards the Urunga bench. Take the quick throw in through Martin. It's pushed forward again. O'Mara, a little step over. Whiten reads it well and drives it into the grandstand here, the northern end of Urunga Recreation Reserve. Credit to the club and everyone involved in getting this pitch up to standard today. Obviously benefited by the fact the yellow card here going the way of Jacob Tarrant. Takes out Jamie Arthur in the contest there. saying the upgrades of this field have really seen it uplift to that next level, and a venue fitting of these regional competitions. Newcheck takes it long, brought to ground, Hayden, Martin, Logio, and it goes just on the byline side of the corner post, so it will be a goal kick. Urunga playing it out through Wiggins. Herbert. Ball's nicely for Bodnar. Now into the box. Picked off. Hampson did well to intercept that. Foul on Waddick there. Urunga will release the pressure. Tuned into the Regional Super League Round 2 action. Urunga FC Raiders hosting Woolgoolga United. Woolgoolga United in the blue and white kit, Urunga in the maroon and yellow. If you have just tuned in, we did have the earlier Women's Regional Super League Round 2 match, and it was a comprehensive win. 8 goals to 0 for Urunga up against Armidale City West Siders. Woolgoolga looked to corral another attack through Antonio. Was out wide, but well away from the target in the end. A strike from Watkin. As I was saying, a couple of hat-tricks going the way of Urunga in that women's fixture. Four goals to Kate Genzio Fry and a hat-trick to youngster Evie Keeley-Banks. The major contributors, Eloise Brown, also nabbing a goal to make it 8-0. A result that never really looked in doubt. They were clinical, Urunga. Up against the visitors on their long trip from the Northern Inland region in the Armidale Women's Super League. Push forward now. Tarrant for Wamara. He gets to the edge of the 18. Takes a bit of a strike off the left, but it hits the side netting. Gets a little bit of feedback from the crowd and gives them a little back himself, saying he wasn't far away. Given wide. Ngoli tries to push it across the line. It comes off Martin and goes across the sideline. So we'll get the throw here. Woolgoolga to be Whiten to take the throw just over halfway. Goes long, headed by the Urunga defence. Wamara's there, puts the pressure on Gorry. He comes away with it. Tries to thread it in for Antonio. Now it's pushed the other way. Waddick plays it back. Pushed out by Wiggins. Now Waddick looking for Tarrant, but overhit. And Wuchek calls the car. White in the right back. Working around back to Arthur. Now threaded. Moving for pace of a Golly. And Golly v Martin in a foot race. Martin happy just to shepherd it. A Golly gets a boot in to keep it in the field of play. Martin comes away, threads it nicely down the sideline. Hampson now. Wamara. Now for Tarrant. He's got a wide runner if he can get to him. Well read in defence. Jack Snowling comes away. They're in a little bit of trouble if that pass stuck, I think. Now they come centrally. Palmer had a chance, but they end up recycling it back. Arthur. Whiten. Ngoli. Infield. Bodnar. And Arthur. Some good ball movement here from Woolgoolga. Whiten. Pinpoint pass. Now it falls in for Gorry. Watkin trying to put it into the box. It's deflected and we're going to have a corner. Good build-up from Woolgoolga here as they look to try and extend their lead. Mallet provided the assist on the first, and he'll take the corner here now. Mallet with the corner. Arthur at the back, but it beats all of them and just spits out. They appeal for handball. The referee again having none of the appeals. It will go away for a corner in the end. No, Golly peeling away. Won't be him. It'll be Palmer to take the corner. Golly presenting for the short one. Palmer looks like he's going to dress this one with his left. Antonio there, Arthur there. He gets underneath it and goes deep. Far away from any blue jerseys, unfortunately, for Woolgoolga. Bodnar thinks about a long-range strike. Plays it wide for Palmer. Palmer chips it into the box. Gets the back post. Couldn't quite get it with a leaping header. Throws himself at the ball to Gorry before it's cleared. It's deflected unintentionally back by a Urunga player. Now Arthur gets forward. Antonio. And trying to turn up the heat here, Woolgoolga. Bodnar, a goalie calling for it. He's racing wide down this right channel. Does well to keep it inside the touchline. Chips it into the box towards the back post. There's three Raiders there. Watkin, though, gets it off the back of the header. Now Antonio. Bodnar. He's got White in here, but he goes back to Arthur. Antonio. Snowling. Antonio taking his time. Patience is the call from the Woolgoolga dugout. Whiten threads it right to the sideline. Palmer's there, and Wamara gets a boot in, and he'll just pop it across the sideline. And just try and disrupt the play. We'll have a throw. Not quite sure what we're going here. We've got duty officer ground manager called down. Referee going to have a chat with him. Obviously, some fans that are not behaving in a suitable manner is going to be the comment. One fan already looks like he's going to make way, is he? Duty officer's having a chat to a couple of fans, and I'm not sure what's going to happen here, whether he's going to be asked to leave or... Duty officer handling that, and we're back to play here. Arthur will take the throw in a moment. We'll move on. The referee says let's get back underway. He's going the long throw, looking for the box is Arthur. That's where he finds it. That's a well-taken throw. The header good on target, but easy for Herbert to take on the first bounce. Bodnar comes away with it here. And all of a sudden, Mallet slices through. He's going to take a strike. Pokes it at Herbert. The second up effort. Herbert again parries it over the crossbar. What about the reflexes from Ashton Herbert there? Back-to-back saves. Forces a corner. He looked like he was on toes for all money on that second, but he did well to get back to almost standing height and parried over the crossbar. Mallet with the corner. With the inside of the boot, headed away. Nice strong header from Hayden. Now Tarrant. Already on a yellow card, puts it forward for the youngster in Kavanagh Rose. He's overran it. There's been a lot of involvement early. Antonio feeds it in Bodnar. Back to Arthur. Whiten now. Tries to feed it through. As is Wamara, and neither of them can find their target. Both of them equally frustrated. Whiten now, Bodnar. Wamara steps in with some intensity. Arthur plays it wide, the Snowling. Over the top, looking for the pace of Mallet. Skins out wide. He has to play it back in for Watkin. Watkin looking for options. Crosses it across to the top of the box. A goalie in a swarm of maroon and gold jerseys. Whiten playing the overlap for Gorry, but Gorry drops it back. Now Bodnar, Whiten. Mara gets a boot in. Arthur prods it towards goals. Whiten slices it back quite handily for Uchek. Missed pass. Hampson gets the turn. Lays it up for Tarrant. Kamara out wide. Kamara takes a strike. Not far away at all. He's going to keep Woodcheck alert, that's for sure, with strikes like that from range. Driven long from Woodcheck. Hayden comes out. Slice it across Martin now. Toes it forward. Whiten. Wamara rides the back of Whiten, and that will be a foul. Whiten now with the free. Antonio. Snowling. Dead forward. Foul called on O'Malley. My apologies, it's Castor there. Foul's called on. Wrap the arm around. Arthur sent back for location of the resumption here. Whiten now. As it through midfield. Attempted pressure. Goalie. And go back through the midfield. Mallet does well. Has it back down. Kavanagh Rose. Walsh. Waddick. Better movement, but I just feel they can't free up the lanes they need to here, and the commentators curse strikes as Wiggins just mishits that and it goes across the sideline. Exchanges in midfield. They try and work it out of defence to Urunga. Both teams appealing for the throwing going their way, but it'll be given to Woolgoolga. Cross dangerously into the box and a collision. A little bit of confusion between Martin and Herbert. Whiten tries to cross it in, appeals for handball and goes off the corner flag and out for a throw in. Arthur will come for the long throw again. A crowd of Woolgoolga players outside the 18 and a crowd sitting around the penalty spot and now the back post. Advance forward as Arthur gets set to go into his stride. Takes a long throw towards the back post. Almost a clean shot away. Antonio deflected, fires one well wide to the right. That'll be a goal kick. Great reflexes from Ignacio Antonio. He couldn't get them on target the second. That long throw from Arthur. A dangerous weapon for Woolgoolga. Now they're working it out, Hampson. Goal turnover, it falls to Hampson again. Plays it forward. Waddick under pressure. Again, both teams in dispute over whose throw it should be, and it goes in favour of Woolgoolga. Just inside their attacking half, they go all the way back to Arthur. He's got White and wide here on the right, and that's exactly where he goes. Down the line now, Golly. We'll tap infield. Wamara gets involved. Martin decides to wander across field to the right. Beautiful ball out in front of Jai Waddick. Waddick that tries a little step over to misdirect Snowling. Can't get there. Plays it back. Lofts it into the box, but Wuchek takes that calmly. Not shelling peas for him. Now Arthur, a bit of space in front of him. Plays it wide, a Golly. On to Gorry. Lofts it forward. Gorry racing forward. He had Bodner with him. He slices it out now. Palmer tries to feed the ball through, but Gorry had pulled up. And he wasn't advancing where his striker thought he might have been. And Captain couldn't turn assist for a second goal. A huge blooming kick from Herbert. Headed forward by Arthur. Deflected down. Gorry the last touch. Ben Martin to take the throw. Finds Wamara. Going for Whiten. Whiten goes long. And to the head of Gorry, nods it on. Mallet looking for it, but some huge commitment there, and we've got a bit of a challenge injury here. It's come down awkwardly. Trying to work out, is that Wiggins potentially? He is. Sitting back up, holding that knee. Hopefully nothing too significant. I see players going down with injury. The good news is he's back to his feet. A little bit of a hobble to him, but nothing too severe, which is good to see. Arthur with the throw in. Pops it out in front of Mallet. He's got a Golly with him there and crosses into the box, but we're going to have a foul call. Call on Joel Hampson.
back this way.
Oh, there's a bit of grass.
Back to you, please.
Mallet over the dead ball here. Struck instead. Montgomery comes down. Urunga headed away for the time being. Tarrant thought about coming in a rated notch, but Bodnar happy just to push it across the sideline. And now Tarrant makes a ranging run. Martin going with the throw. Does find Tarrant, but Whiten sends it flying over the camera position. And now they'll take another throw. Martin happy to go backwards. Hampson. Nicely placed ball. Wamara and Tarrant connect. Wamara takes a strike just off. Looking to thread it through that tiny window between the keeper and the post. And he's just to the left of the left post. Couldn't quite rattle the woodwork or get it inside. He's getting closer though. He's got some power on a strike from that distance, and Jack Woodcheck's going to have to be careful that he doesn't get caught napping. We'll head on that from Hayden, and we're going away for a throw. Gorry looking for the quick throw, decides better of it, leaves it for Whiten to come and take control of. Golly, dangerous in the box now, looking for a turn, tries to thread it, parried over, diving to his right, has to reach back with his right hand and punch it over the crossbar as Ashton Herbert. On the first time today that he's pulled out a reflex save. Woolgoolga trying to turn up the heat here on what is already a warm day in Urunga. Of course, you are tuned in to the Northern New South Wales Regional Super League. Round 2 in its inaugural season here at Urunga Recreation Reserve, and it's a picture today in the sunshine. Comes in at the near post, scuffed away. Tarrant puts it out in front. Waddick plays it infield. Castor sends it long. Walsh. And a tap on for himself, uses his own pace as the youngster. And a player on the ground appealing in Tarrant. And Dowley feeling that he was hard done by when a similar collision happened earlier, and he ended up with a yellow card, and he's suggesting the same to the referee. The referee is going to go and have a quick conversation with his assistant on the far side from our commentary position. And says, no, nothing doing. We'll just come back for the throw. Wiggins back up after that earlier knock to his knee, which is good to see. Walsh playing it back. Wiggins to Herbert. Woolgoolga just turning up the press. Arthur stabs his foot in at that one. The offside flag, though, comes up against Gorry. Woolgoolga with the sole bragging rights in this first half so far. And goal for Gorry, assisted by Mallet. Now goalie comes away. Palmer. Waddick. Hampson. Ball taken away by Watkin. Snowling. 1-2, racing down the line. Can he get the cross in? Scuffed off the outside of the right. Not the clearance that Wiggins would have been looking for, but a clearance nonetheless. So another corner for Woolgoolga as we head towards the elapsement of the first 45 minutes. Ben Whiten just asks the referee how long to go. The referee signals 4 minutes on his watch. Mallet with the corner. Looking into the sun. And in perfect line of sight for his teammates and the defenders as he pops this one up perfectly. Ignacio Antonio. A beautifully glanced header into the top right corner where the Kookaburra sleeps. And all of a sudden, Woolgoolga double their lead. 2-0 here at Urunga Recreation Reserve in the shadows of half-time. Nacio Antonio just got up above the pack and nodded it into that top corner. And play gets back underway after a little bit of consultation there between the referee and the assistant referee. Pushed forward now. Physical battle there between Tarrant and Arthur. Now it falls for Palmer. He's in traffic, cuts back. Arthur feeding it all the way back to Snowling, who has to retreat to get control. Goes to Wuchek. Whiten drives it forward. Gorry. Nagoli tries to go for the long pass, but boot gets caught in the grass, and now he comes in and puts the defensive pressure on Martin. O'Mara looking for that one just to beat him, and Whiten tried to feint him out and take the turn. Didn't quite work out. Another throw in. He comes forward for it. Doesn't quite get control either. And goal scorer in Antonio. Snowling using his pace to get outside Waddick. Tries to feed it on for Watkin, but he can't control. Walsh with the throw. Looks to go long, and Snowling will just parry this across the sideline. Time ticking down towards the break as the shadows start to drift across Urunga Recreation Reserve here. It's round 2 of the Northern New South Wales Regional Super League. After enthralling 8-0 win for the home side in the first game, there's a grinding 2-0 lead for the visitors here, Woolgoolga, in the Men's Super League. As Travis Hayden gets the boot in, of course, in the Women's Super League, it was Urunga up against Armidale City West side. Won that one 8-0. And here, it's Woolgoolga with the double goal lead, heading towards half-time. Neither side seem to be in too much of a hurry here. James Palmer goes and retrieves one of the spare footballs that's sitting over there behind the byline. And take this corner. Lofts it up towards the back post, looking for another headed goal. Arthur was flying high, but couldn't get there. Castor plays it into the legs of Watkin and will get a throw for his side. The referee checking his watch, can't be long left. Noah Walsh has to go and retrieve this in the gully that runs around the venue. Goes the throw. Kavanagh Rose. Now Arthur steps in and hacks it forward. Herbert, the keeper, slides out to get that one. Referee checks his watch again. Whistle goes to his mouth. And that will be half-time. It's been a big first half showing from Woolgoolga United. They had a tough road trip to Inverell in round 1, and they've come out with purpose today. They've taken the sting out of the home side, and at the break they do lead.
sheds and the school fence and bounded up. It's like 45 metres. So you play one way and just play a little pride. And it's the other way. We had a fairly young team. We ran 5s and 6s a couple of times. Like, then you run a 6. I've run a 4. We're these two young whippets, and they just one of them were good cricketers, and he just drove the ball and pulled up like a metre short of this fence, and they only had a mid on and a mid off, and they were both guys who were like 50 something. So it took them a good I think they were onto their second run before old mate turned around. Gone and got it, then relay throwed it in.
Welcome back to Urunga Recreation Reserve, round 2 of the Regional Super League for the Northern New South Wales football. It's been an intriguing clash so far. The visitors, Woolgoolga, have the upper hand against the home side, the Urunga FC Raiders. So far, you feel Urunga aren't that far away from just conjuring maybe a goal to spark this one to life. It is 2-0 at the break, goals to James Gorry, and will tap in early in the first half. And then just before half-time, a soaring header the way of Ignacio Antonio. What a finish that was for him. To double that lead in the shadows of half-time. Interesting to see if either side makes any changes at the break. The referee just blowing the whistle because Woolgoolga are nowhere in sight here. Urunga ready to go. Woolgoolga have headed into the sheds and just taking their time coming out. Starting to see some movement now as the shadows stretch across the Urunga Recreation Reserve. It's certainly probably going to be a little dim lighting by the end of this game, because if we look behind us, we are, as you can probably see on your screen, surrounded beautifully by trees here in a wonderful little piece of coastal mid-north coast New South Wales. But that also means the sun's going to go behind those trees pretty soon. So we'll work with what we've got. But what we do have on our hands is a hearty local rivalry with visitors in the lead and a home side looking to come home with a wet sail. Woolgoolga in their second outing in the Regional Super League. They did go down to Inverell in their first clash, and Urunga, their first game, was unfortunately a washout. Again, if you're just joining us now, it was some joy for the home side in the Women's Super League Round 2 fixture that preceded this game. They took on Armidale City West Side and they put away 4 goals in the first half, and then added another 4 in the second for a comprehensive 8-0 win, which certainly had a very healthy crowd down here on a long weekend Saturday for this Regional Super League on their feet celebrating. Will they be celebrating at the end of this? Only the next 45 minutes will tell us that. At the moment, it is Woolgoolga United with the upper hand. Ahead of a busy run for Woolgoolga United. 3 games in the next 14 days. In the local Premier League, they've got ladder leaders. Apologies, they've got Northern Storm in a couple of days' time on the 10th. And next weekend it's up against Coffs Coast and then Sawtell on the 21st. Well, Urunga, they've got a challenging one in front of them. There's a little bit of confusion there, an appeal for a foul. Urunga do win out. The crowd very happy with Watkin wearing that in his midriff. As I was saying there, Urunga over the next 14 days as well. They won't play again until next weekend when they'll take on the ladder leaders Yamba away from home. Then they'll take on 4th place Sawtell on the Thursday night, also away from home, and then finish their 7-day run of 3 games with Coffs City again away from home, the 2nd place team. So 3 of the top 4 teams in 7 days. So I'd love to head into that with some momentum from the Regional Super League. What can they come up with in the second half here? Parent with the throw. Ignacio Antonio comes in. Adam Watkins been in the thick of things since the half-time whistle. A foul called against Wamara.
He's moved his position. He's not walking away from the ball.
Jamie Arthur a little agitated here. The referee's going to go and consult with the assistant referee. Arthur continuing to argue with the assistant referee here. I don't think he's going to get him very far. The decision's been made. Wuchek now. Plays it out. Arthur with the ball. Plays it forward. Gorry plays it back to Arthur, chipping it forward for Mallet. Hampson gets involved and takes it away. Now Gorry. Ignacio Antonio, the two goal scorers combined. Antonio somehow comes away with that, prods it out wide, and we're going to come back for a foul. I was touching on before, a nice healthy crowd in here at Urunga. Snowling plays it wide. Drives it into the box, headed towards goal, but Herbert out there and takes it cleanly and easily. Now Herbert's going to send it high in the air and over halfway. Tarrant tries to head it on. And the throw will go the way of Woolgoolga. Snowling will take it. Now Walsh with the throw. Hanson prods. Antonio intercepts. Arthur prods forward again. They go wide on the right now. They centre it up looking for Palmer. Headed away. Hampson with a volley. Snowling. Ignacio Antonio continues his work. Playing both sides of the field. Moving around, a free range roll. Now they work forward on the right. Trying to cut infield. Agolio. A ranging run, prodding it, poking it, slicing through. Hampson chips it forward. Whiten. Now wide. Antonio again. Deflected off the legs of Walsh, and we'll have a corner. Opportunity for Woolgoolga United to extend their lead. You feel a third goal here might just be a dagger to the heart of the home crowd. You're a long way back from 3-0. I say 2-0 is a dangerous lead. 3-0 is a comprehensive one. Played in, headed away at the near post. Walsh did well. And it's sent soaring and sailing over the crossbar and down towards the canteen. Great assistance and ball retrieval from a youngster in the crowd there. Ashton Herbert now. Come out and take the goal kick. Goes long with this one. Arthur puts his head through it. Martin now. Agoli has it now. Gorry. It comes to. Prods it into the box. Palmer looking. Herbert comes sliding out and gets hold of it. Bounces kindly for Antonio. It's headed back infield. Bodnar looking for it. Hampson has control. Walsh. Palmer puts it in to the middle. Gorry tries to get to the outside of Martin. Doesn't matter because Hayden is there and clears it away comfortably and confidently. Certainly an animated little crowd down here in the northwestern corner at Urunga Recreation Reserve. Adding plenty of atmosphere as Mallet goes on a penetrating run through, but it's cleared away again, and again they'll have a throw in. Almost at the midpoint of the attacking half. Whiten's going to go down to the halfway flag and retrieve one of the spare footballs. The other one's ended up in one of the car parks here. Mallet pops it back. Golly back to Whiten. Arthur. Got Snowling wide here if he wants to go that way. Goes to Antonio. Snowling pops back into the pocket. They're happy to work it with composure across their back line, just looking for some space to open up, something to present. Arthur to Antonio. Hampson slides in. Tarrant puts it out in front of O'Mara, but Whiten puts his boot through it. Headed on looking for Palmer. Wiggins and Hayden do well to get it away for the time being, but Agoli's there. And then Martin just with a, almost looks like a dance move, parrying it across the sideline in the end. Sounds a foul throw, is he? Have two hands on the ball, so turn it the other way, but O'Mara can't control it, and he goes back across, and Whiten will now take the throw. Now O'Mara ranging forward. Got Tarrant there with him, but Arthur gets a boot in. Arthur disputing the call, but Urunga getting on with it. And check out. Now plenty of time, plenty of space on the left flank for Watkin. Pokes it forward for Palmer. Palmer v Wiggins. Plays it into the legs of Wiggins, and it'll just go across the byline, and we'll have a corner again for Woolgoolga. Mallet will come up for the corner. Mallet steps up, lofts it towards the back post. Antonio goes charging in and has collected an opponent as he retreated and pushed his body into him. And the referee says that'll amount to a foul. Herbert now with the goal kick. Again, he drives it long and low. Tarrant tries to get up for it. Snowling pushes it forward. It falls nicely for Tarrant. He's got O'Mara with him if he can find him. Takes a shot from range, but we'll check up to it again. Calmly takes it with two hands. They just can't really create a close range attacking opportunity for them to try and get back into this one at the moment. Urunga, as the sun continues to dip below the trees behind us here on the western side of Urunga Recreation Reserve. Mallet plays it out in front. Opportunity here for Gorry again. Well saved, Herbert. Not sure what Gorry was doing there. That was certainly unorthodox. The second effort, he looked like he was trying to do a forward roll and header the ball at the same time. Another throw, headed away again, this time Hayden. Been ever present on the left side of defence. Another throw comes in for a goalie. Hampson comes in, he'll take it away. Goalie gets the last touch, does he? Yes. Assistant referee says that, the referee agrees, and Urunga take the throw. Now go long. What it can't get up to it. Mallet plays it wide for Snowling. Referee says play on, and they've got the ball. Comes back to Antonio. Keep working here. Woolgoolga not happy with the physical challenge from O'Mara. The referee says, I've got this in control. And just waves them away. Herbert again. Strong, long drive. And Ben Whiten kicks it into next week. Urunga with the throw. The captain in Hampson will take it. Goes long into the box. Tarrant almost nods it on with the back of his head. That would have been some goal. I feel if he had just got a bit of a deflection on it, he might have caught Woodcheck stranded. Walsh, the youngster, plays it forward now. Hampson looking for Tarrant. Going to be a foot race here. Woodcheck comes out, gets his body around it, covers it up and takes it away. Now they go to Arthur. Out to Snowling, back infield looking for Antonio, but Hampson's got it. Walsh. And Rose and Walsh. Thread the ball forward, looking for Hampson, but beats all, and Bodnar takes it away. Ngoli now. Little step overs. Trying to bamboozle his opponent. Threads it forward for Gorry, nicely weighted. Gorry gets it into the box, but well broken up by Wiggins. Not quite dealt with that. Mallet drops it back. They swing wide. Watkin blocked by Walsh, and Walsh comes away. Much to the enjoyment of the crowd here at Urunga. Been right behind the young man so far today, but he'd like to have that one again. Just a missed touch, and it goes across for a throw-in. And busy at right back. Now they look for Mallet. Hampson making him work, and he can't quite control it as it goes across for another goal kick. Again, Herbert will be the man to take it. Interesting to see which side is first or decides to take the initiative with bringing on changes. Looking for spark here. Will it be Woolgoolga trying to turn the screws and lock the 3 points up, or will it be Urunga trying to find something to conjure and spark something here? As they trail by 2. Snarling with the throw, goes back to Arthur. Now they work it through their keeper in Woodcheck. He goes long. Bodnar. Antonio is the scorer of that stunning set piece. Header in the first half. Now they push it forward, but they fall to the advantage of Hayden, who's happy to lay it back to Herbert. Herbert's going to draw in Palmer, who tries to get a boot in. Watkin does. Walsh waits for Watkin to take it and takes it away from him. Turns it away. Falls kindly for Waddick. Back to Walsh again. And Hampson, the captain, under pressure here. Tries to come away, but Antonio takes it. Hampson, that's not a clean challenge. And it will be a yellow card to Urunga's captain. Left the referee with very little decision. It was clumsy. Antonio's down. It didn't look like he got too much of him, but it certainly was clumsy and it was dangerous. Could have been a lot worse than it was. And the referee again right on the spot and gets the decision absolutely 100% right. Send out some attention now for Antonio, I should say. Back to his feet. We need to. He's going to have to come off after he receives treatment. Just ask the referee, can he go to the other side? take the free. Headed on. Watkins sneaking up at the back post, but Herbert was watchful. Forward, look for Mara, it does. Martin pushing forward, looking for a pass. Headed down by Antonio. Custer dispossessed. Palmer comes away with it. Now Mallet. Hampson needs to be careful here. Already on a yellow, gets it out again in front of Palmer as Mallet. He slices it infield. I think that's quite what he's looking for. Gorry's there, fighting hard. Just shoulder into the chest of Travis Hayden. And the referee calls a foul. Both team substitutes starting to get up and about, warming up, getting ready to go when they're called upon. Inside the final 28 or so minutes here at Urunga. The home side, the Raiders, with all the work to do. They trailed 2-0 as they did at the break. Nice ball played out, looking for Kavanagh Rose, but it's going to be shepherded towards the byline, but it pulls up on this thick and lush surface that we're running through on Urunga Recreation Reserve, and Woolgoolga will just prod it over the sideline and concede the throw in. Ben Martin will take the throw. And we look to go long into the box. That's where he does go, looking for Hampson. Mallet breaks it up. Wamara's there. No, there's a strike he can take from distance, but Antonio comes away with it, pushes it wide. Forces Watkin to turn back. He comes back onto the ball now. Plays it long. Wiggins. Waddick. Wiggins again. Back to Waddick. To Walsh. Drives it forward. Finds Tarrant. Tarrant pushing across, looking for Mara White, and gets involved. Now Palmer. Mallet. Out to a golly. Lays it off. I'm not quite sure who he thought that was for. There was no one there though. Whiten comes in. Wamara gets a touch on it. Tries to claim that it should be his throw, but the assistant referee points in the opposite direction. Whiten with the throw, looking for Mallet. Hayden gets a boot in, but Mallet comes away with it. He gets to the outside of him. Heads into the box. Trying to find Watkin. Well done, Herbert, with the right boot. He was falling away and managed to his right boot underneath him to clear it. Now Tarrant looking for Wamara. Woolgoolga's defence tightens and constricts their run. Snelling calls for runners, no one comes. Wuchek calls for it back. Snelling switches the focus. Palmer does well to bring it down to ground. Arthur lofts it forward. Walsh is there. He's been solid. A 1-2 between he and Wiggins. A misstep now by Walsh. Gorry uses his experience to cut back inside the youngster. Herbert takes that nicely around his bootlaces. He's been busy. Herbert. A couple of blemishes on the record, but an overall solid performance. As he lofts this one into the little bit of light that remains above the trees and ends up being taken on the second bounce by his opponent, by his opposing goalkeeper. And they play it out now. Woolgoolga happy just to continue to mount the pressure through possession in their 2-goal lead. I feel Urunga needs to find something soon. Their first outing in the Regional Super League. Both teams chasing their first wins in the Regional Super League. Woolgoolga went down to Inverell in their first clash. Pushed forward, headed down. Hampson now will he take a strike? He does, but it's just wide to the right. Right idea. Execution only a millimetre or so away. Maybe a little more. We're going to see a raft of changes here, are we? 1, 2. And you're going to see Bailey Kavanagh-Rose and Pablo Casta make way. Nicholas O'Mullane will come on.
Me and Rooster White.
Confirmation on who the other sub is that's come on. Arthur now. Hugh O'Connor's another that's come on. James here as well for Woolgoolga. So Rafe Boschard has come on as well, but for Woolgoolga it will be Ace Bodner coming on for James Gorry. Watkin comes in, challenge hard. There's Bodner. There's Ace. The two Bodners out there now. Connor pushing hard up front now, youngster. And Boschard going up as well. Snowling trying to work it forward, but it's pushed across the sideline by Waddick. Mallet gets to the outside, crosses it into the box, beats a couple on the turn. Palmer with a strike. My word, into the top left corner. Spins around on his own left peg and drives it into the top left with his right. And Woolgoolga lead 3-0. What a finish from James Palmer to extend the lead here. And you have to feel put it out of reach for Urunga. That one would have been nigh on impossible for any keeper to stop. Herbert just couldn't get to it. Up into that top left postage stamp. And Mallet with a play down back play. That's a clumsy challenge at best. O'Mullane. Weston Bodnar down, he's back up, he's still cramping pretty horrifically. Down on the ground again, Bodnar. Sampson drives it forward. Headed on by O'Connor. I think it's a little nudge from O'Mara as they go to shoulder. Bodnar still down with cramp.
Kevin, into the 6. Nacho, you can.
So Bodnar will make way. Charlie Shipley.
Help him up. Yeah, he's subbing. He's bigger than you. That's all right.
Maybe Shipley coming on. It'll be a bit of a reshuffle. Golly will drop into the 6 role. Shipley might jump onto this left side by the look, and Watkin will go to the right. Been busy, got through plenty of work as Ace Bodnar. Now back underway. Hayden plays it across. Wiggins pushes it wide for Walsh. She went back. Snowling. Antonio. Arthur. Martin heads it towards the sideline. Just sees it away for the time being. Inside the final 20 here. I feel if you're under absolutely any chance, they need to get something going quickly. And Boshard for O'Connor. The substitutes combine. Little chip ball for Wamara. Snowling appealing for the offside, but Wamara continues on and the flag stays down. Whiten. A bit of confusion amongst the officials. I'm not quite sure. I think we've ended up with a corner. Must have been close to that corner flag, and hence the dispute. Will be a corner though. Hampson looks like he's set to take it. Not exactly replete with tall timber out there at the moment. Tarrant was their physical presence. Been replaced by O'Connor. They slice it up. On the volley, just over the crossbar. That would have been some goal from Nico Mullane. Wasn't far away. I think, to be fair, it had Jack Wuchik beat. Head towards the final 15 here at Urunga Recreation Reserve. Woolgoolga certainly the upper hand on the scoreboard, but it's been anything but a cakewalk of a contest between these two local rivals here in the North Coast Premier League. Lockdown horns again twice later in the season. In the season proper. As the ball spills. Redded wide for Bodner now in the centre. Can he get a shot away? Herbert was off his line. O'Malane comes in and just pushes it across the sideline. Almost got a goal at the other end, and now he's cleaning up at the defensive end. Shibu gets it for Bodner. Infield, Mullane. Antonio, Arthur. Snowling. Mallet. Agoli goes wide now. Whiten with a bit of space, works forward into it. Watkin. Agoli plays it forward for him. It'll be a foot race. Martin will be too quick. Plays it down the line. And kind of can't quite get the header directed in for Wamara. Whiten plays it into legs. Connor and Hampson sandwich him and try and control it, but the assistant referee says it's gone across the line. It'll be a throw in the way of Woolgoolga. 75 minutes tick down. 15 to go of regulation time. They come wide. Walsh pops it forward. Waddick looking for Boshard, but Whiten heads it away. Walsh is going to come forward and take the throw. There's Wamara. Pops it back now. Wiggins. Back to Wamara. Looks for a teammate but can't find him. Shipley watches it across the line. Bodner now. Heavy challenge from Wiggins. Is the referee going to go to his pocket? Yes, he will. And a yellow for Wiggins. It's the third yellow for Urunga today. Wiggins, Hampson, Tarrant. Tarrant now has come off. Hampson and Wiggins still out there. I'm ensure that they don't receive another. I don't want to miss the next game for the Regional Super League. Next fixtures will be on the 12th of July. Urunga will travel to Inverell, while Woolgoolga United will play host to Macleay Valley Rangers. Walsh now, against Shipley, a little tap on, uses pace to get to the outside and drives it forward, looking for Bosched. Walsh again, home lane for Wamara. Cuts back in. Bosched is there, little 1-2 with Wamara. Can he finish? Yes, he can. It was parried by the keeper. But Fabrice Wamara gets one back for the home side, and the home crowd are electric with elation. After that, some great work from a couple of youngsters in the lead-up, including Bosched, who provided the pass back for him. And all of a sudden, there's just a faint pulse here for the Raiders. They trail 3-1. Wamara's been close a couple of times before from acute angles. This time, his finish is too good for the keeper in Wuchek. They need to be the next to score and keep things moving along. 12 and a bit minutes remain. They need to keep it moving, but is that the spark they needed to fight back from the canvas here on their home turf, Urunga? O'Malley steps in there. O'Connor, Ngoli takes it away from him. Watkin under pressure from O'Malley. Antonio plays it back to Arthur. Snowing now. Plenty of paddock to work with. Chipley does well to play infield. Broken up. Chipley comes away again. Now Golly plays wide to Watkin. Bodnar making a run, but Martin takes it away and pushes it across the sideline just over halfway. You're going to see another change here. And it will be Waddick that makes way. Now McGovern comes into the fray. The throw comes long from Whiten to Ace Bodnar. Does well to control it in close quarters near the sideline. Does he? No, he doesn't. The assistant referee says it's gone across the sideline and we'll have a throw in the way of Urunga Raiders. Time ticking down. They need to keep advancing forward, Urunga, here if they are to come back and stage a miracle turnaround. Palmer tries to weave that through the defence. Herbert calls off his defensive unit. Off the post. That was almost a calamitous mistake at the back. Palmer advancing forward as Herbert tried to clear it, deflected it, and it was only the woodwork that saved the blushes of Urunga Raiders. It'll certainly take some wind out of their sails, you'd think. Now Bosched. Wide from McGovern. Starling does well to break it up. Hampson calling for numbers to come to him. A 1-2. Now Hampson, Snowling comes away. McGovern back to Walsh. Exuberance of youth is what they're looking to here, the Raiders. Fresh young legs on there. Can they find something? Meanwhile, Woolgoolga are far from done as well. Arthur. Ngoli takes it on. Wamara coming at a rate of knots. O'Malley comes away with it. He's got Wamara with him if he can find him. Prods it out in front of O'Connor. O'Connor v. Whiten. Whiten getting himself in there. Comes back looking for Martin. O'Connor again. Plays it into the legs of Antonio and will take the throw in. Trying to pick up the tempo here. The men in maroon and gold. Looking for the throw. Will they go long into the box? Yes, they do. Looking for Wamara. Whiten heads it away. Washed trying to crumb around, but Palmer's there. Drives it towards the line. Ace Bodnar does well to keep it in. He's only keeping it in for himself, though. Put up in the air. Martin gets a nice trap. Ngoli plays it into the feet of Martin and it'll go across the sideline. Just over 8 minutes of regulation time remaining. And chances are getting slimmer and slimmer for the Raiders. They poke it into the box here. Palmer coming around the corner. Ace Bodnar skews it across the face of goal. Another goal for Woolgoolga would be a death knell. The one going the other way could all of a sudden open this right up in the closing exchanges. O'Connor gets a clip from behind. Arthur trying to protest, but he's got no argument here. The referee right on the spot. He came from behind and collected O'Connor. There wasn't a lot in it, but there was enough for it to be a foul. And now a dangerous set-piece opportunity. Wuchik straight away, animated, organising his defensive structures. He knows how crucial this is. At 3 goals to 1, a slip here for Woolgoolga could open up a share of the points. Hampson hits it into the wall. McGovern taking away Bodnar. Now it slides back to defence. Herbert will have it. And Woolgoolga will look to make another change just to control the clock, freshen their legs, and the goal scorer in Ignacio Antonio will come off. Jack Taylor will come on. Woolgoolga with the result in their control. But any mistake or slip here, and it could all of a sudden spark to life again. Tivoli back, Snowling. Well blocked by McGovern. Prodded forward by Boschhead. Arthur will just head it across the sideline. The youngsters that have come on for the Raiders have had the desired impact. They've added a spark. They've added some spring in the step. Hampson. Wamara. Can he be the lightning rod that they need? Boschhead. The goalie takes it away. Wamara closing the space. Ace Bodnar back. Snowling. Arthur. Drives it long. Territory and time are friends of Woolgoolga at the moment. Walsh. Plays it forward. Whiten. Taken away from him by Boschhead. Arthur stops it. McGovern plays it into the body of the player, getting back to his feet. Ace Bodnar turns on the pace. Cuts into this 18-yard box, almost the 6-yard box, and parried away by Herbert, pushed across the byline for a corner. Hope ticking away moment by moment for the home side here. Wonderful goal to get themselves back into the contest, but it's not quite enough at this stage. So they will make a change. Wamara's going to come off. John Fife will come on. The crowd very happy with this late cameo from Fife. Playing up front. Frosty and dangerously headed away. O'Malone gets up to it. Shipley with a strike just wide of the left post. Very little wind up in it, but it had plenty of heat on it. Just slightly off target. Herbert now. If they're going to stage some sort of last-minute comeback, last-ditch effort, it's now the time. O'Malone plays it infield. Martin pushes it forward. Moving for Fife, racing down. And can't quite get there in time. O'Connor forcing the hand of Wuchik. Martin does well to block the intended pass by Watkin, but time not on their side. Inside the final 4 now. The time ticks down. Fife pushing hard on Wuchik. Shipley feeds the ball infield. O'Malone Back for Walsh. Down for Boshed. McGovern now, trying to thread it through. Snowing a little break up. Shipley feeds it in. Palmer scored that stunning third goal. Turning finish into the top left corner. Boshed. What about the close quarters control there? Feeds it forward, looking for Fife. Fife dispossessed by Arthur. And drives it well into the stand. And the other throw coming. Hampson into the box, looking for Fife. Almost a little tip in there, but just beat him across the byline. Richard will take his time. He'll be happy to let it tick away. Sends his team long. Nice it wide to Shipley. Hampson can't quite control it. Walsh chips it forward. Brought down. Mallet. Fife. Drop back Walsh. Wiggins. All the way back to Herbert. Drives long. Boshed advancing against Arthur. Heads it back to the keeper. And calmly takes it and just calls for his side. And cool their jets. Knowing we're into the last couple of minutes of regulation time here. The clock ticks down. The likelihood of 3 points going the way of Woolgoolga rapidly increasing. Crucial round 2 regional Super League game. Inverell got it done last round against Woolgoolga. Woolgoolga looking to break their duck. Headed across the sideline. Anyway, Connor having to dodge some excitable canines as well there. Wanted a piece of him as he ran through into the crowd to pick that ball back up. Mallet drives it forward. Ace Bodner heads it on to his own advantage. Hayden, though, too strong over the ball. Bodner ends up forcing him to ground, and it'll be a free kick. There they go. O'Malane. Boshed. Dispossessed Whiten. O'Malane advancing forward. Captain can't control it. Whiten can parry it across the sideline. And beat them advancing. Fife to take the throw. Fife called for a foul throw. Regulation time all but gone. We're at the referee's discretion now. Boshed. Palmer feeds it forward for Bodner. Bodner racing back. Walsh just taps it onto Herbert, who drives it long. You have to feel this will be about where it finishes at 3-1. Can someone find one last salvo? Either way. Just to add a little gloss. Whether it's a seal off of Woolgoolga or a little bit of pride salvaged for the home side Urunga. Look more like a rugby tackle than a soccer tackle. The referee going to go to his pocket. Here he is. That's a second yellow card for Hampson. That's going to be the end of his evening or afternoon, depending on how you want to look at the light situation. Referee's going to his pocket now, and it will be a second yellow, which will mean it's a red for Hampson. Much of the dismay and frustration of the crowd.
I don't think he wouldn't have given you the second yellow.
And a less than ideal finish for the Raiders and their captain. Referee gets us going again. Can't be long left now. Arthur looking for options. Decides that he's just going to drive it long. Hit and hope. Skewed away off the head. And you throw in deep. Almost at the corner flag for Shipley. Letting it quite chilly as the sun completely disappears. The moon is out here at Urunga. And the celebrations will be out shortly for Woolgoolga as they register their first win in the inaugural season of the Regional Super League. And goalie Arthur Fife, he's not taking any prisoners on the way home. Throw-in comes the way of Urunga. Walsh takes the throw looking for McGovern. Won't quite get it back in. So he'll have to come back and take it again. He tries to suggest the ball's quite slippery, which wouldn't be surprising with the temperature dropping, that there's a little bit of dew starting to mount. Still water in the surface from all the rain we've had recently. Whiten goes up with McGovern. Fife over the ball. Owen will go the way of the Raiders. McGovern with a long throw looking for Boschhead. Whiten gets his head to it. Now they work it. O'Mullane tries to thread a pass through 5 blue jerseys. Can't find a path. O'Mullane now up against White, and he comes away with the ball. Well, they think they have a strike. No, he decides to lay it off. O'Connor spills out. Does Martin get there? No, a sliding effort. Both teams not taking any prisoners late here. Ace Bodner races away. Could he ice it with one more? He gets to the 18-yard box. A heavy touch. Herbert stays on his line. Uses his right thigh to bring it down to ground and then grabs it with both hands. He's pulled out some stunning saves despite 3 going past him today, Ashton Herbert. Some of the reflex efforts he's pulled out have been absolutely top shelf. Unfortunately for him, the never-ending waves of Woolgoolga attack have meant that the 3 have ended up in the back of the net. Arthur trickles away, beats Jack Taylor. He hasn't had a lot of involvement since he's come on. Hasn't been needed to. Martin will take the long throw into the box looking for Fife. If there was any indication of how much the crowd was impressed to see him when he came on, you could only imagine what the raptures would be if he managed to find a goal late here. As we tick into almost the 4th minute of stoppage time. Arthur gets us going. You have to feel that time has almost elapsed here. We're at the referee's discretion. Woolgoolga leading 3-1. Fife coming in with a challenge again. A goalie comes forward. O'Mullane thinks to press. Shipperley threads it in behind. It's driven long now. Clearing pass. Ended off the back of the head by Snelling. Hacked forward by Whiten. Now Boschhead goes in against Whiten. Fights tooth and nail as a youngster. And the referee says that will be full time. It's a gutsy win on the road for Woolgoolga after falling just short in round 1. They've answered the call here with a performance full of purpose and belief, keeping their finals hopes very much alive. This match showed just how competitive this league already is. 2 proud clubs, plenty of grit and moments of real quality across the park. With weather playing havoc with the early rounds, it's wins like these or even hard-earned draws throughout the competition that could prove crucial in shaping the finals race. But a crucial 3 points here for Woolgoolga on the road. And it shapes up interestingly now for the remainder of the round games in this competition. And also for these sides as they try and get their Premier League campaigns back underway. It was Woolgoolga United, 3 goals their way. James Gorry got the opener. Ignacio Antonio with a stunning header just before half-time to make it 2-0 at the break. James Palmer got a third before Fabrice Wamara got one back for Urunga. And that's how it finishes at 3-1 in favour of the visitors, Woolgoolga United. And that is full-time in your Regional Super League match of the round for round 2. I'm Chris McPherson. Thank you very much for joining us. And don't forget, you can catch all of the Regional Super League action live and free every round.